Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Danica Kopp and I'm a master's level licensed clinical social worker in Massachusetts and Virginia. Welcome to Therapy Thursday. Today's topic is a hard one. It's about suicide, and I'm looking at this from the perspective of knowing someone who has suicided. So this is from a friend or a family member perspective, although I do hope that it would help those who are thinking about suicide. And if you are thinking about suicide, please reach out, okay? It's so important that you get help. You do not need to feel this way, and it's not okay to feel that way. Okay, so let's jump into some facts and figures. Suicide in the United States is the 10th leading cause of death in overall Americans. However, if you look at Americans 18 to 65-year-olds, it is the 4th leading cause of death. And if you take it down to 15 to 24-year-olds, it's the 2nd leading cause of death. That's unbelievably not okay. Okay, so every day, 123 Americans die by suicide. There is 1 death by suicide in the United States every 12 minutes. Only half of Americans who experience a major depressive disorder actually get help or seek help. There is 1 suicide for every 25 attempted suicides. So 25 people who attempt suicide, there's 1 death. In the LGBTQ community, they are 3 times more likely than the general community to attempt suicide. And out of the LGBTQ community, when they're not accepted by their family and friends, that rate goes up to 8 times. That's incredible. That just goes to show you how much being loving and caring and kind to each other matters. It matters. As I was doing research for this video, it really struck me how in 2019, there was like 4 to 5 celebrities who committed suicide due to public perception. That just goes to say how much our voice and our words hurt people. Okay, so let's talk about a depressed brain. A depressed brain lies. That's just the basic part of it. A depressed brain tells that person that they don't matter, that they're worthless, that they don't really have a place in this world, that those around them would be so much better off if they just weren't here. And their depressed brain believes every single one of those statements, believes it wholeheartedly. When somebody is that depressed and contemplating suicide, they just don't see any way out, despite the fact that the world would be a completely empty place without them. They don't see it. And that's why it's so critical to get somebody who's feeling suicidal help, because we really need to help them to see a different path, to get them medical help if needed, to get them on medications to change their brain chemistry and function. It is such a brain disorder. So when I think about, and I work with, people who are struggling with suicidal feelings, I think about people like Robin Williams and Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain, who were incredibly famous and successful and wealthy people. And I think about a statement that Jim Carrey made, the actor, about how the absolute definition of his depression, or kind of it became really clear to him how impactful his depression was when he was so successful in movies and he had made millions of dollars, and he was still miserable. That money and fame and status does not change a depressed brain. That if Robin Williams could think the world was a better place without him in it, can you imagine what it's like for people who aren't that successful, who aren't that accomplished or loved kind of by a general community? And Robin Williams had a loving family. He had children who adored him. And of course he was successful. I mean, I don't know that Robin Williams was in anything that wasn't successful. He was just such an amazing actor. But his brain said, you know what, Robin? Yeah, the world's a better place without you. You should end it, because it just make life easier for everyone. And, I personally still mourn his death and the fact that we won't get any more, of his work out in the world. So again, when you think about people like that, that they really saw no other way out, and then you think of kind of, you know, us quote unquote mere mortals, you know, those of us who maybe are struggling more with success, with you know, being independent, with you know, finding their place in the world, finding their path. I hope that that kind of gives you some perspective as to how much their brain is lying to them. Certainly, it's so important if you know somebody who is feeling suicidal, it's important to really have the discussion. I know these are hard things to talk about, but trust me when I tell you, when you ask those questions and you push further, that shows them how much you care and how much you really love them. So please, please, please ask them, do you think about killing yourself? You know, do you think about ending your life? And if they say yes, ask them, do you think of how? And if they can tell you how, ask them. Ask them for how they would do it. And if they have the means to do it, they belong in the hospital. If somebody has suicidal thoughts, a plan, and then the intent is that they actually want to act on their plan, they belong in a hospital. They need serious help. If they have a plan, but they are able to be rational and kind of have a discussion around that, then they need professional help. They need to be seeing a professional, whether it's a therapist or a psychiatrist or a prescribing practitioner. They need professional help. But they may not necessarily need a hospitalization if they can kind of come up with reasons to live or reasons why they need to remain kind of here on this side. I know this is a tough topic. I certainly am open to, you know, continuing the discussion. If you have more questions, please let me know. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow me. Thanks for your time, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a good one.